Alright guys, today we're doing a little vlog. Riding out to Grinders, one of my favorite restaurants that my family's been going to since I was a kid. It is absolutely the perfect hole-in-the-wall restaurant to eat at. Good food, cheap good food. Big old flat slice pizza, and place is an industrial vibe. Stretch, the owner, is a metal sculptor in Kansas City, and a lot of the metal sculptures you see around Kansas City are his work directly, and this is his restaurant. He's been on several TV shows. Guy Fieri and him are good friends. But speaking of restaurants, ate at Texas Roadhouse the other night, and you know, I'm not usually one to bitch about restaurants, but understanding the clientele and the people that go to a Texas Roadhouse is truly astounding. I mean, for me, having a meal is like a peaceful ritual, you know, and you go to Texas Roadhouse and you get soccer moms, baseball dads, and it's a pig trough. I can't state that the food is bad in any way, shape, or form, but the overall experience. You get there with a party of 5 or more. There's always a party of 5. It's always a party of 5 to 9, and it's a 3-hour wait. Now, if I'm waiting 3 hours for food, realistically, I want an experience. You know, I don't want to wait 3 hours for food, it then be 9 o'clock at night, and I've got 2 5-year-olds over my head throwing rolls at each other, a waitress in my ear next to me screaming over all the ruckus in the restaurant directly in my ear to take everybody's order, and it's just a madness in the chaos of it. It disturbs a soul like mine. I don't know what it is. I cannot state again that the food is bad, but the overall atmosphere and vibe is just truly horrendous. So I've got my kiddo with me, strapped to me like a monkey. But yeah, you know, I grew up going there casually with friends, and you know, it was always like this long drawn out event. There was always a waiting room. There was always sitting in a car for a long period of time, just waiting to get in there at the big trough. And like I said, the clientele, you go in there in the waiting room and you've got moms screaming over their children, trying to talk to another mom that's also screaming over her children. And all in the doorway as well. You know, it's never outside. It's always like in the doorway. It's a line of people trying to get out, a line of people trying to get in. But they find the perfect time to stop and chit chat. And it's just not something I enjoy. I'm more of like a, you know, small restaurant guy. Somewhere interesting if I'm gonna go sit down and eat somewhere. But just the mass clientele of that place is insane. The hive mind is what I like to call it. People with very hive minds, very cookie cutter people. And I do mean offense to the cookie cutter people. Stay the fuck away from me. But yeah, under duress, sat there for 3 hours. You know, the rolls, redeeming factor, definitely worth it for the rolls. However, Grinders, you go to Grinders, if you like alternative music, you're gonna hear a track you've never heard before. If you're into craft beers, they've got 700 taps there with just about any form of motor oil you want to drink. It's truly an amazing place. Got that whole rant over before we even hit the highway. It's pretty damn good. Got my boy Cole with me and his girlfriend Hannah. Cole's been my buddy since, God, it seems like forever. Finally put a gun to his head and told him to buy a motorcycle if he wanted to be my friend, and there he is on a diabolical 2016 Thruxton. Beautiful Friday here in Kansas City. See how good the audio quality is. On the highway now, I've made some minor adjustments. But yeah, restaurants, just not a big chain guy. There's nothing about me that's very chain, you know. Kiddo. Put your visor down, Mo. Put your visor down. Kiddo likes to flip the visor up and then damn near takes her head off with the headwinds. The thing about children, you just got to get them used to your lifestyle. You can grow up paranoid. Look at the safety ratings on a car seat as much as you want, you know. You got to get them out in the wind, let them experience life. Ride motorcycles, breathe air, touch grass, pray to God. Just all the essentials. Over in the slow lane and just chill. You put the kiddo on the back and you just cruise the speed limit. Just hang out. Got her back. I don't know if you can see her in the mirror. She likes to just pretend she's flying. Feel bad for her boyfriend here in like 15 years trying to keep up with me. Good luck, buddy. Today I'm riding my R18 here. This is my Ubermensch mobile. I like Nietzschean philosophy and the tale of the Ubermensch from Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's one of my favorite ideologies of becoming an overman, becoming better than average in every way, every aspect of your life, mentally, spiritually, and physically. This is a representation of that. This is 800 pounds of Berlin-built steel right here. This is an absolute Mjolnir mammoth motorcycle. Only the overman can wield this motorcycle. Drove out to Kentucky to get this motorcycle, found it on Cycle Trader. I've been looking for one of these bikes for like 2 or 3 years. I just was obsessed with it. I thought it was the most beautiful bike ever made. I still think it's the most beautiful bike ever made. It is an Art Deco streamline masterpiece. Beautiful pinstripes, chrome. It is just an absolute masterpiece of a motorcycle. 1800cc. This thing's like a locomotive engine. It's almost like a diesel electric. It just has so much power. It's not necessarily fast, but man, I get this thing going west and it makes the earth rotate a little bit faster. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with it. and the ideas of the Overmensch, becoming the Overman, becoming a better version of yourself every single day, chipping away at new skills, new lifestyles, experiencing new things, not holding on to societal crutches and expectations in any way, truly is the ultimate way to freedom in life. Once you can shed all of your paranoia about what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, it's a psychological breakthrough, and it gets you to a better place. But this bike, it harkens back to that German nationalistic ideas of the pre-war, early 30s, of becoming the best version of yourself for yourself. Everything was built to an extremely high standard. Everybody had massive respect for themselves and for the things they manufactured and made. Took the raw materials around themselves and made art. Forging steel, building motors, absolute creativity. It's a beautiful, gloomy night here in Kansas City. Next weekend, I'm going on vacation to Washington, D.C. Gonna go see the monuments. Avoid the White House at all costs. But maybe pick up some paint chips in the reflecting pool. Some souvenirs. There you go, buddy. Lots of bikes out tonight. Lots of bikes. Yeah, the political situation in America is kind of desperate. All of us bought into a lie. I booked this trip way in advance of what we know now about the political state of America. Bought the tickets to go to the 250-year anniversary of America, but it feels kind of hollow now, knowing what we know now. How compromised our government is by foreign interests. Really a problem I'll have to think longer to solve. There we go. 18th Street, baby. Look at that FedEx hellhole. Actually, I think that's the Postal Service right there. I've been in that building many a times. It is an absolute maze in there of conveyors and mail. It's wild. Eighteenth and Vine is our sort of black neighborhood that we're going to go through. It's black history here in Kansas City. It's a beautiful, beautiful road full of wonderful jazz bars, all kinds of nightlife, newspapers. They have just repaved all of it. We're going to come up on it here shortly. Done a lot of work. We had the old water department building that has been abandoned for years and years and years, and they pumped millions and millions of dollars into it. God knows where the money came from, but into a nice restaurant, a bunch of little restaurants and shops, and it's a wonderful, wonderful stone building down here that is from the early 1910s. It used to be the water department down here off of Paseo. Been itching to go in there, check it out. This thing, you can just sit here and idle, and shakes the whole bike. These massive pistons. Each piston in here is 900cc. I have a green Triumph that's a 900cc Triumph, and that whole parallel twin is literally one piston here in this big girl. She is a Goliath of a motorcycle. It is an immovable object. And it is so graceful. Scoot over. Is this even 2-lane? Barely. But yeah, it is an absolute masterpiece. Look at that big chrome baby. Every time you shift the gears on this motorcycle, it's like closing the bolt action of a Mauser rifle. It is heavy, it is precise, and it just quality. I don't even know how to describe it. You know, I come from Ducatis. Ducatis are very visceral motorcycles, very engaging, very theater-esque, you know, as Italians are. And this right here is just absolute machinery and precision that you could only get out of the Rhineland. And I am truly obsessed with this thing. I drug pegs on it for the first time the other day on the 435 Cloverleaf, laying her down. This thing handles great. She'll cruise at 90 all day long. It's got a big old drive shaft on it that spins around instead of a chain. It's so nice that everything that I'm into is cheap because nobody else is into it. Nobody bought these bikes when they came out. If you were an American and you didn't buy a Harley Davidson Softail Slim, your buddies would make fun of you. You could have this piece of art or a motorcycle that you could park next to 10 of them at a bike night. You know, it doesn't make sense to me as an individual, but a lot of people are not very individualistic. But yeah, this thing is a masterpiece. I know I keep saying that and gloating about it, but I truly mean it. This is probably my favorite motorcycle that I own out of the 7 that I own. I am just at home on it. We are in Vine. Here's the Blue Room. Everybody dressed up to go out. Hats, dresses. Look at that. It is precious. This is truly a gem of Kansas City here, 18th and Vine. A lot of businesses don't last here a lot, you know. There's a lot that goes into this, and every time you come through. But the Blue Room stands a test of time. I've always wanted to go in there, but never felt comfortable enough to go in there. Dress up, wear a suit, get a drink, listen to some wonderful jazz music, and just relax. Lots of new construction going up here. Over here on Paseo, another big beautiful road here in Kansas City, goes all the way down, lined with trees, all up and down it. Those air intakes here and the exhaust going out there. Even the brake calipers are chrome plated on this motorcycle. You're so Art Deco, as Lana Del Rey would say. I've always been into that Art Deco streamlined style. Square jaw, strong figures, silhouettes. Love it. Nikki's up there on her wonderful little Royal Enfield, her daily bike. We got a smoking good deal on that motorcycle. It was a disaster when we got it, but it was the second owner that had it that turned it into a disaster. But the first owner spent the check on that thing. Oh my God, it's got it's lowered, S&S pipes, YSS shocks on it. I mean, the bags, this chain and sprocket, he swapped over to the highway style. It's the controls on this thing are all billet. They're the super fancy billet controls. Got a smoking deal on that. You couldn't even get a used Grom for what we paid for that thing, and it is an amazing daily motorcycle for her. All I've done is oil change and tires on that baby. She is rocking hard at 10,000 miles on that Royal Enfield. I can't recommend those bikes enough. If you can find a dirt cheap one on Facebook and you're just looking to get into motorcycles, it's a perfect. Just dip your toe into the hobby and see if you like it. If you don't like it, get out of it by all means. But it's a wonderful, wonderful motorcycle. That one's kind of annoying because they chopped the tail on it, and so you can't really put a passenger on it if you wanted to, but for a girl in the city with a city job, working at the bank, that is the perfect motorcycle for a girl to have, and or a guy. That thing will keep up 80 miles an hour on the highway, no problem. Buzzes a little bit, but not a problem. Here we are down our wonderful Crossroads Art District here in Kansas City. I have spent my entire life down here in this corridor. Now, if we can find a place to park. Let's see here. Let's see if we can turn this battleship around right here. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Grinders. Grinders West is the fancy deli side, and the regular Grinders is all grunge, baby. It is a thrift store plaid jacket with cigarette holes in it, and it's absolutely wonderful. That's the end of my vlog, kids.